Hello everyone, thank you for watching my videos. Today there's an illustration I'm going to let y'all hear. It's from the 2015 District Assembly. A Jehovah's Witness is studying a non-Jehovah's Witness, teaching him about the 2,520 years from 607 to 1914. If you notice my title that caught your interest in this video, stay tuned. I will explain every bit of the information what my title caught your eye. So we're going to take it from the brother talking to the brother, and we'll go from there.
Tim, thanks for reading all the appendix. 1914, a significant year in Bible prophecy. You understood it, right?
Well, it's not completely clear.
Okay, well, let's go through it again. If you remember, Luke 21, verse 24, said that Jerusalem would be trampled on by the nations until the appointed times of the nations are fulfilled. Now, we know that began in 607 BCE. And in Daniel chapter 4, verse 16, it said that 7 times would have to pass over it. And in Revelation 12, verse 6 and 14, it indicates that 3.5 times equals 1,260 days. So 7 times would be 2,520 days. But of course we've got the Bible principle, Numbers 14, verse 34, a day for a year, a day for a year. So that 2,520 days would be 2,520 years. So counting 2,520 years from 607 BCE brings us to 1914, when Jesus began to rule as king in the heavens. You got it now?
It's still not clear.
That's okay. I didn't understand it the first time I went through it. Just read the appendix a few more times and it will make sense. Come on, let's finish our study of chapter.
Okay. This is a diagram of the 7 times. It shows the 2,520 years. They're 607 and then 1914. Now, remember what the brother was talking about in Luke chapter 21. Okay, we're going to stay in Luke. So, please, everything you hear me talking from this point is in Luke 21. Okay, we're going to go to verse 24. This is the scripture they brought out. And they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away from captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Okay. They say this is talking about the first temple or first Jerusalem was destroyed. Okay, that's what he said. Now, let's go back to okay, let's start with verse 4. Now, well, actually, verse 3. And he said to them, I say to you, that this poor widow has put in more than all. For all these have put out of their abundance, and have put in offerings for God, but she out of her own poverty, put in all the likelihood that she had. Okay, I got a question, Jehovah's Witnesses. When that incident happened, was Jesus at the time at the first temple when Solomon built? Did Christ came out of the temple of King Solomon when he said this to his disciples? Okay. Then it says, then some spoke of him of the temple. Now it was to be adorned with beauty, stones, and donations. He said, okay. Then he mentioned about the destruction of the first temple, that there would be no stone left upon stone. Okay, so in other words, he came out of the second temple of the Jews in 1970 when he made that. And he made that comment about the widow when she gave all she had, she put it into the box for the temple. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is talk about destruction of Jerusalem. Verse 20. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you know that desolation is near. Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses. This is not talked about past tense. He was telling his disciples, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by the enemies. Okay, was the disciples at the time when the Babylonians or Nebuchadnezzar came in, destroyed the first temple of Jerusalem? No, he did not. Okay, let's go to their verse. They claim this is talking about the first temple. And they will fall by the edge of the sword, and they will be led away captive to all nations. And Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Okay, let's go and break this one down. There's only two nations that took the Jews. That was Babylon and the Syrians. Okay, that's only two nations. But this scripture is talking about they would be captive away to all nations. That means all the nations all over the world, the Jews are in these nations. Because why? Because when Jerusalem fell, they had no home. They had to go to all over the nations, even United States, Canada, and other countries to live before 1948 came and they was able to come back and fight for their land, and that's the reason the Jews are in their homeland right now. So when Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the Gentiles' times are fulfilled. Okay, part of the Gentiles' times has almost ended. Is when the Jews took Jerusalem back in 1948. Still, the Gentiles' times hasn't ended because they still have control of Jerusalem. Till in the future, when Jerusalem is given back to the Jews, that's when the Gentile times will be ended. So, Okay, let's go back to that 2,520 years. Now, say this is true, okay? I'm going to say, but this is Jehovah's Witnesses teaching. This is what I did. Okay, I did it in advance. This is the year that should have been from 70 AD. Add 1,520 years, and you will get 2,590. That's supposed to be when Christ was supposed to be returned. By Jehovah's Witnesses religion, if they did their 2,520 years. So what I did, I took 2,590 years, subtracted from 2,520. That's the year that the years they used to get this crazy 1914, and what you end up would be 70 AD, when Christ was talking about in Luke 21. From those 3 verses I was telling you, it was not talking about past tense of the first temple. It was talking about the second temple. Because remember, Christ came out of the temple. He did not come out of the first temple because he wasn't born at that time. And it was destroyed, so he couldn't come out of a temple that wasn't even there. You know, you get my point. So this is the thing. From the right, you got 70 AD when Jerusalem fell to the Romans. You add your 2,520 years, what Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower use, it would be 2,590. But the thing is, people, you cannot use 607, because Christ wasn't talking about 607, and it just has nothing to do with Jerusalem. You can't use 586 when Jerusalem was destroyed in 586. He was talking about the second temple, the Jerusalem that he was born into, where he died. And that's the chapter 21 of Luke is talking about destruction of the Jews, and that's the Gentiles time they was using from that one scripture. Jerusalem will be trampled by Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. People, Watchtower twisted scriptures around, like this scripture in Luke 21, and those 3 verses I showed you, that this chapter is talking about the second temple, and it's talking about 70 AD when Romans destroyed this temple completely and ran the Jews out of Jerusalem, and they wasn't able to return till 1948. So Watchtower, you deliberate lie to everyone just to save your 607 and your 1914, and it came with nothing. And you see the truth about the 2,520 years. It will be 2,590, and guess what, people? We all will be dead and gone that year if Jehovah's Witnesses had their way, if they were speaking the truth. If it was supposed to be 70 AD, 2,520 would equal to 2,590. We all would be dead and gone. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.